Hello everyone, my name's Sammy and welcome to my channel. I'm so glad that you've joined me for today's practice. Our aim for this one will be to incorporate poses that will hopefully bring us a sense of peace and equanimity. As always, we want to listen to our body and how it's feeling today. So grab any props that you need to bring your level of support and comfort. I'm kind of surrounded with a few props here. I've got bolster, got my strap, eye pillow, and bricks, and I'm sitting on a blanket, yoga blanket. You don't have to have the fancy yoga stuff. Just grab the cushions off the couch, the pillows off the bed, whatever's accessible for you. Okay. And of course, you can actually do this practice without any props whatsoever. Okay. So we're going to begin lying on our tummies. We'll come into Sphinx pose, Salamba Bhujangasana. And again, you don't have to do this with any props. I particularly like doing this with my bolster. So again, you can grab your pillow off your bed to do this. So this one aims to open up our tummies, our chest, and give us a slight extension of the lower to mid back. Okay, so let's start to ease on down onto our tummies. So I'll show you first without the prop. So if you're doing it without a prop, we just want our legs to just go like jelly. Bottom and legs just relax, let them sink into the mat. And we can bring our elbows under our shoulders or even a little more forward. And even if this is too intense for you today, you can ease on down to find a level of comfort for your lower back. Okay, so take your feet out as wide as you want to. And maybe a little gentle tuck of the tailbone. But again, we want to be able to relax, make this a very passive spinal extension. So I'm going to actually bring my bolster underneath me, sort of underneath my chest and above my belly. Right, so we're going to be holding these for around about 3 minutes. So I'll let you have 3 minutes of peace and quiet so you can totally melt into your pose. Okay, so just popping your gaze into a position that feels good for your neck. Let your arms be heavy, your legs. Let the toes sink into the floor. And then just focus on your breath moving through your body. Not pushing or striving, letting all of that go. Just absorbing into this gentle lower back, mid back extension. And then I'm going to gently ease you out of this pose in just a few minutes. Coming into 5 steady breaths before we start to gently move from this pose. Notice how we feel in the back, shoulders, through the hips and legs. And then when you're ready, start to gently lift up a little to remove your prop. If you've used something for support, we can ease the body down, the upper body down, maybe give the hips and legs a little wiggle. And just take a few moments in stillness to allow that Sphinx pose to land. Notice any sensations that may be coming up for you. And then when you're ready, we're going to take this pose that we've just done and move it into a supported fish. So again, I'm going to grab my bolster, and you can use a pillow or whatever's handy, rolling onto your back. Now we want to be able to have head support with this one here. So gently ease your body down onto whatever you're lying. Make sure that your head is supported and that you're not feeling a sense of like crunching in your lower back. So have a little bit of a wiggle around. Okay, so my bolster's stopping just before it hits in my lower back. So I'm feeling nice and supported. And I'm even going to use, I'm going to use my eye pillow here, and I'm going to use a weighted blanket just to feel a sense of grounding here. So I'll take my glasses off. So yeah, again, you can use a face washer instead of an eye pillow, and grab a doona or a blanket, or not have anything really. You don't have to use a blanket. And then give yourself some time to settle in, do a little bit of a wiggle around. And then when you're ready, come into a position of stillness where we can just focus on our breath moving in and out of our body, allowing that to be our anchor. Notice how the chest and belly rise and fall with every inhale and exhale. Give your legs permission to go heavy. And then again, I'm going to leave you in stillness and peace and quiet, and I'll gently draw you out of this pose in a couple of minutes. And then again, taking those 5 sweet breaths before we start to move our bodies out of this shape. Letting the breath come naturally in and out of the body. And then in your own time, gently start to ease yourself from your prop, whatever you're using. I'm going to pop my blanket out to the side. And then from here, we're going to actually, let's just take a moment here. We're off our prop. We just take a moment of stillness here. Just allow a little bit of a rebound, a little pause. Notice how our body feels. You might have your knees bent or straight. Whatever feels good for your back. And then from here, we're going to come into pontoon pose. So again, we're opening up through the hips. So quite often the front of our body gets quite tight, kind of lifestyle factors. We're leaning over for work or looking on our phones or whatever, which is perfectly fine. But it can be good to come into a series of poses where we're really opening up through the front of our body. Okay, we spend a lot of it closed in. So from here, we're going to come into pontoon pose. So for this one here, I actually might use, because I feel like I want a little bit more of a firmer support. I'm going to use my brick. But you could use your cushions, pillows, whatever you've got handy, rolled up blanket. So take a bend in the knees, bring your feet, fairly close to your bottom, enough that you're able to lift your hip. Okay, and then from here, I'm going to walk my feet out. See how straight I can go without feeling a sensation of pinching in my lower back. So if you want to keep as much of a bend in the knee to support your back, that's fine. But we do want these poses to feel passive, feel effortless. So take a little while to find your sweet spot. Okay, might move my brick down a little bit more. A good 30 seconds to shuffle around, find what's good. And then from here, once you've got your legs organized, see if we can melt the upper back into the floor, relax our facial muscles, and invite a sense of opening up through the hips. We want our arms to be heavy. Take your feet as wide as they need to be. And again, I'm going to leave you with your pose, and I'll gently draw you out of this in just a few minutes. And then for the last 30 seconds, if you'd like to join me, I'm going to take a bend in my knees. I'm going to come into waterfall pose. So bring your feet off the floor, bring your knees a little bit towards your chest. Adjust your hips if you need to. And then I'm going to lift my heels up towards the ceiling. Draw the toes gently down. Just get a little bit more lengthening through the back of the leg here. Gentle lengthening. It could be good for circulation of the blood, this one. It's nice to do this one against the wall as well, with your heels up against the wall. Maybe a cushion underneath your bottom. Just to help bring a sense of calmness. And then when you're ready, take a bend in the knees, pop your feet on the floor, lift your hips up, pressing through the floor with your feet. And then if you want to take some time here to do a little bit of a massage for the lower back, making circles, maybe rocking from side to side, drawing the knees in for a big stretch for the lower back. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to remain on our back, and from here we're coming into a rotation. Okay, so from here, let's scooch our bottom over to the right side of our mat just a little bit and let our legs fall over to the left. So have a little bit of a play here as to what you want to do in terms of your position for your rotation, your little twist. I'm going to take my hands a little bit away from the body. We want to feel a sensation of anchoring the shoulder blades to the ground so we can keep this chest open so our breath can move freely. Okay, but yeah, still incorporating this spinal twist. So you can, stack the legs. You might even want to grab your your cushion, whatever you're using, and maybe straighten the top leg a little bit here. See what sort of sensation. So, flavor it up, get a little bit curious, maybe even looking the opposite direction. Or do nothing, just let your legs fall naturally into a twist, whatever, and let them hang there. And then, I'll draw you out of this in just a few minutes. Allow the jaw to soften. Shut your eyes or soften your gaze. And just taking the last 5 breaths to truly allow your body to melt into this twist. And then being gentle and kind to yourself, start to ease yourself out of your twist, rolling onto your back. And then before we jump in and do the other side, let's do a couple of windshield wipers here. Just releasing through that lower middle back. Come to stillness, maybe TP the knees, rest them against each other. Notice how we feel after our little twist. And then when you're ready, let's take the twist over the other side. So we can scooch our bottom over to the left of your mat. Grab any props. I'm going to use my bolster again for this one. Okay, so allow some time. Actually, I'm going to use a brick and a bolster. Allow some time to get organized. Okay, again, we want to kind of keep the chest nice and open. So, if your shoulder blade's lifting up a little bit on the, left-hand side, that's okay. And then, pick out where you want to rest your head, whatever feels easeful for the neck. Once you've worked out where you want to be, let's come to a time and place of stillness. Be open to finding a sense of relaxation. Allow the breath to smooth out the edges. Bring some space into our joints. And again, I'll gently ease you out of this pose in just a few minutes. Taking these last 5 breaths to find a sense of peace. Allow the pose to nourish us from the inside out. And then when you're ready, gently start to bring yourself out of this pose. So do take your time. Just little gentle movements. And if you, again, if you want to come into a little bit of a windshield wiper action here. And then a moment of stillness before we come into our last pose. Lovely. So our last pose for today will be banana asana. So we'll come into a stretch down the side of our body. So from here, again, we're going to scooch our bottoms a little bit over to the right side of our mats, straighten our legs if they're bent, and then we'll bring our feet and our hands round to the left corners. Now, if this doesn't feel great for your shoulders, have a little play with your arm positions. You might want to kind of more focus on getting length through the hip. And then with this one, you can play with whether you want to pop your hand on your shoulders or near your shoulders or ears. Just, yeah, have a little play. If neither of those actions feel great, you can just rest your hand on your tummy. You can cross your ankles over. For me, that's just a little bit too active for my practice today. And you can pull your hand over, your right hand over with your left. But again, just, we want this to be a stretch down the side of the body, but, with not much effort to zero effort, really. So get into your bendy banana shape. Have a little bit of a play around, see what feels comfortable, because we need to be comfortable, in this position. We don't want to be finding any discomfort here. Maybe a bit of a stretch discomfort as we're getting settled, but as we're longer in the pose, you may find that'll ease off, as we learn to relax into our banana asana. And again, I'll just gently bring you out of this pose in a few minutes. Take a few more moments here. And then when you're ready, gently start to scoot your bottom to the middle of the mat. Before we jump into the other side, we can stretch out our legs, lengthen our body, our arms, maybe curl up into a little ball. There's a bit of a counter pose. And then we'll bring the hips over to the left of our mat, just a little sweep our hands and our feet round to the right corners. Make any adjustments. We want the whole of the back of our body melting to the mat. So, if you're finding that your shoulder blades and your hip on your left side is starting to lift, maybe you've just gone a little bit too far for today. Okay, so just back off your little bend here. And then, focus on your breath. Notice how the ribs rise and fall on the left side of your body. Breathe some length down the side of your body. And again, I'll gently ease you out of our last pose. Taking those last few breaths here. Allowing your body to melt a little bit heavier into the mat with every exhale. Then when you're ready, start to gently wiggle your bottom to the center of your mat. You might like to do your little stretch and curl as your counter pose. And then we're coming into our final pose, which is Shavasana. So you want to basically just come into a position that feels super yummy and relaxing. So add your props. I'm going to use my blanket and my pillow for this. So take your time to set up. We'll be here for about 3 minutes. And know that this is actually the hardest pose sometimes to do out of all the moving that we do, all the stillness. Coming into a place of rest can be really tricky. So remember to be kind to yourselves. And if you find that your mind is struggling to relax, just acknowledge any thoughts or feelings that may be, allowing you to find a level of resistance to finding a sense of peace. Just acknowledge them and then don't let them anchor you to, feeling that stress. Just come back to your breath. Sometimes just focusing, even putting your hand on your belly and your chest and feeling your breath move through your body can help as a gentle distraction. And again, if you're finding that you need to come out of this a little earlier, that's okay. But this is where we get to really reap the rewards of our practice. So again, I'm going to leave you here and I'll gently ease you out of Shavasana in just a few minutes. And using the power of the breath to guide you, start to bring some gentle, small movements back to your body. Maybe a rocking of the head, the ankles, wigglings of toes and fingers, or a bit of a stretch here. Take your time to remove any props and roll over to one side. Maybe take a pause here on your side. There's no need to jump up straight away. We've been lying down for quite some time. And then when you're ready, start to use your arm strength to press you up to seat. You want to come into a nice comfortable seat here. And pop your legs wherever it feels good. And I'd love for you to join me as we bring our practice to a close. So bring your hands to your heart space in Anjali Mudra as we thank our beautiful and amazing bodies for moving and for being still, for our breaths for nourishing us, and for our minds for guiding and supporting us. Thank you so much for sharing today's practice with me, and the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling very chilled out at the moment. Yeah, again, I've had such a good time sharing today's practice with you, and I hope you got something out of it as much as I did. So, if you'd like to, see more of this, please add a comment, like, subscribe, share with friends, family, whatever. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye.